Marketing That Works is the podcast for business owners who want to move their brand forward so that they can bring in more sales and clients. I'm Danielle Harris, and I'm bringing you what I know from more than 12 years of experience in traditional and online marketing. I have created marketing strategies for businesses of all sizes, from multi-million-dollar corporations to early-stage online businesses. Remember, some marketers chase fads. I believe in mastering the fundamentals. Does your marketing strategy actually fit your life and your identity? Because if you've ever caught yourself saying, I know what to do and know what I should be doing, but I can't seem to get myself to do it, if you've ever thought that, in this episode, it's exactly for you. Now, if I'm thinking about my clients, most of them, they really fall into one of two categories. Either they know exactly what to do, but can't seem to get themselves to do it, or they feel completely lost and they're like, I just need someone to tell me what to do, how to get going so I can actually hit this goal that I have. I need someone to tell me what to do. And both, they end up thinking that something's wrong with them. The person who's like, I don't know why I'm not doing it, they're just like, why am I so lazy? Why can't I just like do the work? And the other person who's like, I don't even know where to start, they are usually the people that like do all this research and they know all this stuff, but they still feel like, I just need someone to tell me specifically what to do. That's usually what ends up happening. And you have probably tried to fix some of this either by learning more or trying to get more structure, creating to-do lists, buying another planner, holding yourself to stricter routines, learning from someone else on a regular basis, like a whole lot of things. And it just never ends up sticking. And that's because it's not about motivation or discipline or like learning more. It's about the fit. And it's about your strategy having to fit your real life and your real identity. So I said life and identity, but let's talk about what that actually means. And so when I say fitting your life, I mean like the real logistics of your days, how much time you have to dedicate, considering that you have a 9 to 5, or considering that you have family members to take care of, or kids, or that you have appointments that you have to go to, or considering that you have responsibilities, or considering that your energy in the evenings is not the greatest, or that you have sicknesses and that you just have things that are just like actually taking up your time. So that's that portion of it, like your life, how you have to live. And then I have the identity portion, and that's like your inner internal operating system, like the voice that goes into your head. That voice is just like, who am I to even do this? Why am I even trying this? I don't know if I can do it. We're talking about your nervous system. So like if you fight, flight, freeze, all of that, like how you're actually navigating that. I'm talking about your habits and your patterns, and then also just like how you actually respond to like, do you feel safe, right? That is what I'm talking about. Like, is your marketing considering all of that? Because most of the time, it is not. It is not. And I know this because when I first started my business and even when I was working corporate, I never thought that that was actually a thing that needed high consideration. But like let's back up even to like when I worked in corporate. Like I said, I didn't think that emotion just really played that big of a role. I was just like, you show up, you do your job, you share your ideas, you pitch them, and you hope that they get picked. But that's not actually how it happened. Like there was emotion that went into that. I really wanted my campaigns chosen. I really want my strategies approved, my designs implemented. And when they weren't, I would think like, oh, why not mine? Why didn't that work? So even those non-emotional spaces where you just follow the rules, you get it done, you do it, even then emotions were present. But it just didn't click to me how big of a thing that was until I actually started running my own business. And so when I was early in my business and I would work with a lot of coaches, I would work with a lot of small business owners, and they would come to me and they would say, hey, I want to go and I want to hit this big goal. I want to make X amount of dollars. I want to have X amount of more new clients. I want to speak on the stage. And so I would say, great, this is what you do. This is the type of content that you post. This is how you're going to reach out to people. This is the strategy that you're going to use here. Do A, B, C, X, Y, Z, and you'll get the result that you want. And I had some clients who would just go and do it. They would do it, get it done, and they would get the results, right? But then there'd be other people who would come back after, a week after we talked about the strategy, and they'd say oh, I didn't get around to it, or I'm still figuring out what I want to do. And I'd say, okay, sure, come back next week. We'll talk about it then. We'll talk it through again. And they would come back the next week and they still wouldn't have it done. And so for me, I was just well, I guess the strategy too hard. Is something not clicking? And I realized quickly it wasn't the strategy, because I had stripped it down. I made it simple. I made it into bite-sized, digestible things that were quick things to really do, just because I know that sometimes I can give a lot and it can be overwhelming. So I broke it down and I got really good at making things really simple and very actionable. But that wasn't the thing. It was the emotional portion of it. It was the part of thinking I don't know if this could fit in with my life, or I don't know if I see myself in that way that I could do this. And it wasn't laziness. It was fear. It was fear that my people had of doing it wrong, fear of being judged, fear of being seen trying something and it not working out. And most people, they think that they diagnose it as a marketing problem. A strategy that doesn't work. That wasn't the right fit for a person. And that's not the case. It's actually a problem of making sure that the strategy that you have is going to fit with your life. It's not the strategy itself, it's how you are implementing it and how it's fitting in with how you want to actually work. So something that I really remember is with one client, she's brilliant. All of my clients are, multiple degrees, successful career. And one of the things that she wanted to do was she wanted to collaborate with other people and create this really cool thing for her community. And so we mapped out this exact strategy of how she was going to outreach to these amazing people and create this really great thing for her community. We even had emails and things drafted. But for weeks, she couldn't bring herself to send them. And then we unpacked it. And she said, I don't want people to think that I'm desperate. What if they don't take me seriously? This is what she was saying. And it wasn't about time. It wasn't she didn't have time to send it out. It was about safety. It was about her being safe, being visible. And so we worked through it. And I asked her, what's the worst thing that they could happen if she says no? And her gut was to make this very rational, the worst thing they could do is they say no. And yes, that is the thing, but that's not always the real thing. If they say no, then that means that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, and I probably shouldn't even be trying to do this in the first place. That is what was really coming up for her. And so we needed to work on that. It wasn't a marketing thing because, like I said, we had emails drafted for this of how to reach out to it. It was more of the identity that she had of being good enough to actually even reach out to work with these people. And that was the thing that she needed to work on, was becoming that person that she saw for herself. And by the end of the call, she ended up sending the email to the person. And of course, she got an instant yes, because again, my people are brilliant. They're so amazing at what they do. And that collaboration that she did, it was helpful in her growing her audience and bringing in new leads for her. This thing that she was afraid of, it wasn't a strategy issue that she had. It was about creating marketing that made her feel safe in who she was becoming. She was growing her identity as someone who is able to pull in these big name, fantastic people. That's not initially how she saw herself. And so we needed to go through and work through all the blocks that were coming up that was preventing her from being the person that she really wanted to be. Now, that was a really good like identity portion of it, but there's also like that life piece of it, because you might be saying like, okay, yep, like how you see yourself, my identity, that's great, but like I have real things happening in my life, and so like I need a strategy that fits for that. And yes, I get that, because emotional safety isn't the only thing. There's also like your life capacity portion of it. And one client who came to me, she had this really big income goal. But every time we talked about the action steps that needed to be taken to go and do it, she'd freeze. And she'd say, like, I just don't have the time. I just don't have the time to do it. Like, I want to have these big goals. I want to hit all these numbers, but like, I just feel like I don't have the time. And so her response was to do nothing about that. And so what I ended up doing with her was that I asked her to map out her actual week, like every single meeting that she had, every family commitment, every appointment. And yeah, she had a lot of things going on. But we also found space, open blocks of time she wasn't using because mentally she had already labeled herself as too busy. So, what we did together is we restructured her plan around the realistic energy and timing that she had. On days where she was packed with meetings and family responsibilities, she didn't expect herself to create content or do heavy strategy work. Those were her admin days. Low energy marketing tasks where she could just like kind of pop through and didn't take a lot of creative energy power. And then on her quieter days, she dedicated that for her more focused creative time. And that one shift, building marketing that fits around her actual life, that changed things for her. She stopped shaming herself for not doing enough on days, and she actually started getting more done because her plan made sense for her reality. This also makes me think of another client who just returned from maternity leave. She was excited to dive back into launching her new program and reconnecting with her people. But after we talked through what her days were actually looking like, she realized that she only had limited childcare once a week, and baby's naps were like unpredictable. So instead of trying to replicate her old schedules, we designed a new one: calls only on days that she had help, and content creation that was super simple for her, that didn't require her to have hours and hours of free time, but maybe voice noting things while she was breastfeeding, or doing things and filming things that were super simple that she could then later edit when her husband came home. Like things that were super simple and doable, but also had a really big impact. Because replicating her old schedule, like that just, it really didn't make sense anymore. So it wasn't about lowering her ambition. It wasn't that like, oh, because you have a baby, like you can't hit your goals or do anything. No, it was just about being realistic about what you have the capacity to be able to do. And then when you do have help and when you do have the space and availability, knowing exactly what you're going to do that's actually going to help you move the needle and get the results that you want. And that's the part that I want to say so many people overlook. They blame the strategy and say like it's not working, but it's not the strategy. Is that your life has changed and your marketing hasn't caught up to what's happening and going on. The strategy of what you're actually doing, that doesn't change, but the tactics of how you actually get the strategy done, that might change. And realizing all of those things, seeing that it wasn't just 100% strategy marketing things that were holding them up from having the success and the results that they wanted, realizing that no, like these are just life issues, inspired me and made me realize that I need more than just marketing tactics in my toolbox. Like I help people to make sure that they're able to promote and share about their business. And I can give all of the marketing strategy in the world. I have been doing this in corporate for over a decade. I have multiple degrees in this, undergraduate degree to master's degrees in this. Like I know this stuff, but I realized that the help that they needed wasn't just 100% marketing strategy. It was human type things that needed work with. And so that's why I decided like I need to become a life coach. I need to have more tools in my toolbox so I can help my clients actually get the results that they want. And it wasn't just any program that I wanted to have. I decided that I wanted to train with Shirin Eskandani through her Wholehearted Coaching certification program. And it was really important for me to decide to go through that particular training because it was trauma informed, it's decolonized, and it just really honors people's real lived experiences. It's not just this toxic positivity of think your way out of your situation. And if you're just like, this mom who only has so many hours in a day, only so much help on her side, can't just positive think her way out of like, oh, everything's great and gravy. Like, no, you need to actually affirm that, like, yeah, you have limited time right now. Your days don't look the same as they did before. And so recognizing and holding space for that, while at the same time coming up with a way and a plan to move forward, accepting that, yeah, your life looks different right now. And so that's why I wanted to go through and do this program because, most of my clients, they are Black women or people of color. They have marginalized identities. They have so many other things going on. And like this is just think positive thoughts thing, like that was not going to work with them. And so I knew that I needed to have additional tools that were really real, grounded in the real work of transformation and growing identity to help my people really get those results that they really wanted. And I know that that's really important because I've seen how that type of identity work and like life capacity work really affects you. And honestly, those are tools and things I need myself in order to take my own business to the next level. I've always identified as someone who just works best under pressure. Like, give me a tight timeline, tight turnaround, and I might be a little upset about it, but like I'll get it done because I've been doing that for years. Like in college, I had to write these 20-page papers in 12 hours the night before, still get an A. That's just what I did. I don't want to say I thrive in chaos because I don't like chaos, but that pressure, like it would get me to work and get me to go. So now when I'm in my business, like I work under the same type of conditions. I'm going to be perfectly honest. It is 6:24 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. My podcast comes out on Mondays. This is night before recording, editing, putting it out there. Like that's how I'm even right now that I'm operating. And that's because I know that right now getting ahead activates me and puts me in a freeze. Like this is not a strategy issue. It is an identity pattern that I'm actively healing from. Because the business that I want to build, it's going to require me to work ahead, to do more planning, to be on top of things so that I can go and do other activities that are going to help me to grow my business. This last minute creation thing, while it has worked for a long time and it's made me a good amount of money, it's not going to take me to the next level. And that's what happens with a lot of my clients. Like it's the same habits and the patterns and the identities that are holding them back, not the marketing strategy per se. And because I'm going through it myself, I understand and recognize and realize that it is uncomfortable growth. It takes tears. Sometimes that's what my clients go through and feel safe enough to be able to express of like, it's uncomfortable growing into the type of person and changing things based off of, your life situation. That's real uncomfortable growth work, but it is what's required to be able to hit the things that you want to do. You're doing something that a lot of people aren't doing. Growing and building a business. And the way that you grew and developed, it was most likely built and designed around working for someone else's company. Like I said, back when I was working corporate, I didn't really think about that to this level or to this degree, about that emotional and life portions of things. Like, yes, I thought about work-life balance, and yes, I thought about like, oh, this is draining, but not nearly to the degree like I am in business. And That's why I love working with and helping my clients do this emotional and practical work, because that's really and truly going to be the thing that takes you and your business to the next level and have things that you really want to have. It's making space for both humanity and your ambition. So, all that being said, the marketing that you're doing, it doesn't fail because you're lazy or unmotivated or don't know what to do or all these things. It's usually just the fact that it is not lining up with how you currently see yourself and the realities of your life. If your plan requires energy that is long gone, time that you don't actually have, or if your plan requires a version of yourself that you haven't fully stepped into yet, it's just not going to stick, at least not for very long. And that's why I help my clients build strategies that consider both the logistics of your schedule, your bandwidth, your responsibilities, and your human side, your fears, your habits, your nervous system, how you see yourself. Because when both align, that's when your marketing finally works and keeps working for you. You will show up more consistently if you are in alignment with your identity and you are in that constant work with someone to grow and expand that identity to have the business and be the person that you want to be. And when you do that, you get results and you feel good about those results. And then you start to trust yourself again as the person who's running this amazing business. So, if you've been saying, I know what to do, but I can't seem to do it, please know that you are not behind and you are not broken. You just need a strategy that fits you, your life, your capacity, and your identity. And inside my one-on-one program, The Blueprint, we don't just build marketing plans, we build systems that fit who you are now so that you can finally stay consistent and see real results. And I've seen this work time and time again. Like my one client who went from doubting she could even send a single email to outreach to someone to landing a dream collaboration that brought in so many new leads to her business. Or my other client who used to constantly just second guess every single word that she wrote, terrified of saying something wrong. And after our work together, she started showing more of her real self online. And the posts that she almost didn't share, it brought her her next client. This stuff works. It works. Because when your marketing strategy fits your life and identity, it doesn't just work better, it works for longer. So, if you're ready to build that kind of marketing plan, go to the show notes and book a one-on-one call. Let's create a strategy that fits who you are and the life that you're actually living. All right, y'all. Until next time, I'll talk to you soon. If you want more marketing that works right in your inbox, head to the show notes and sign up for the email list. You'll be the first to know how you can work with me on mastering your marketing.